A man stands in a Warsaw street as German soldiers sweep through, rounding up civilians for deportation. He could run. He has a way out. Instead, he lets them grab him. This is exactly what he came here to do. His name is Witold Pilecki, an officer in the Polish resistance. By 1940, rumors are spreading about a new camp the Germans have built at Auschwitz, but nobody knows what's actually happening inside. No photographs. No confirmed reports. Just prisoners going in, and almost nothing coming out. Pilecki brings a plan to his commanders that sounds insane even to them. Let him get arrested. Let the Germans send him to Auschwitz. Once inside, he'll build an intelligence network, document what's happening, and organize an underground resistance among the prisoners. His superiors approve it. Nobody has ever attempted anything like this before. The arrest goes exactly as planned. Pilecki is beaten, loaded onto a train with hundreds of others, and shipped to a camp that, at this point in the war, is still officially just a prison for Polish political prisoners, not yet the machinery of mass extermination it will become. Inside, Pilecki adopts a false identity to protect his family and begins immediately. He identifies prisoners he can trust. He recruits them one at a time, in whispered conversations during work details, building small resistance cells that don't know about each other, so that if one is discovered, it can't expose the rest. Conditions inside are worse than anyone imagined. Starvation. Disease. Random executions used to terrorize the population into submission. Pilecki documents all of it, smuggling reports out through prisoners who are released, through camp workers who can be bribed, through any crack in the system he can find. His network grows to include hundreds of prisoners. They sabotage German supply operations. They steal food and medicine for the sick. They build makeshift radio equipment to receive news from the outside world and keep morale from collapsing entirely. Pilecki's reports are the first real intelligence to reach the Polish resistance and, eventually, the Allies, about what is actually happening at Auschwitz. He describes the camp's expansion, the growing brutality, and eventually, as the war continues, the horrifying shift towards systematic mass murder as the gas chambers are built and the camp's purpose changes entirely. He spends nearly 3 years inside. 3 years documenting atrocities most of the world refuses to fully believe. 3 years building a resistance network under constant risk of discovery and death. Finally, in 1943, with the resistance network compromised and his own life in growing danger, Pilecki makes a final decision: escape. He and 2 other prisoners overpower a guard during a bakery work detail outside the main camp and disappear into the night. He makes it back to Warsaw and rejoins the resistance, delivering the most detailed first-hand account of Auschwitz that Allied intelligence has yet received. His reports, along with those of a few other escapees, become part of the evidence that eventually confirms the scale of what is happening in the camps. But at the time, the full scope of his intelligence is met with disbelief in some corners, too vast, too horrifying for some governments to act on with the urgency it demanded. Pilecki survives the war. He goes on to fight again, this time against the new communist regime taking hold of Poland. In 1948, he is arrested, tortured, and executed by the same kind of totalitarian machine he had spent his entire life resisting. For decades after his death, his story is suppressed by Poland's communist government, his name erased from official history because he had fought against them too. It isn't until decades later that his full story finally comes to light. A man who volunteered to walk into hell, documented it in detail, built resistance from inside its walls, and walked back out to keep fighting. He chose to enter Auschwitz when everyone else was trying to escape it. And what he did once inside